My name is Anita Altman, and I am the board president of Yaffed. We have Gene Steinberg, who grew up in Kiryas Joel, where he attended Hasidic Yeshiva. He's the founder and executive director of Freedom, an organization that supports individuals from Orthodox Jewish communities who wish to live self-determined lives.
I'm a yeshiva graduate, but am I really? Well, I have a degree to show for, but do I really? Some say that I'm a sixth grade dropout. Am I even that? I was born and raised in the Satmar Hasidic village of Kiryas Joel, approximately 60 miles north of New York City. I didn't really get any secular education. As a child, my yeshiva education was 6 days a week of Judaic studies for an average of 8 to 10 hours a day. During the ages of 7 to 11, for 4 days a week, we had an additional hour of so-called secular studies, where the curriculum was meant to be just basic English, reading, writing, and math. But in reality, it wasn't even there. Our teachers mostly babysat us playing hangman and other games. After age 11, the secular hour was eliminated. It was Judaic studies only. Our yeshiva system was kind of split into 3 parts. First grade until age 13 was called Cheder, 14 to 17 was the intermediate yeshiva, and 18 until you got married was the big yeshiva, or as we called it, Masifta. Most students got married at age 18 or 19. The Cheder and intermediate were called UTA, United Talmudical Academy, and the big yeshiva was called UTS, United Talmudical Seminary, though we knew all 3 as UTA. When I attended Masifta, the registrar demanded that I sign a federal financial aid application. Beforehand, a family member once told me how he wasn't eligible to get financial aid for real college because his yeshiva has already claimed all of his financial aid. I didn't really know what college was, and I didn't plan on going, but I refused to sign the application just in case. I was told the application will get signed one way or another, be it by me or by someone else. We never registered for classes. The entire big yeshiva had the same Judaic studies curriculum. Students generally quit yeshiva within a year or 2 when they got engaged. I didn't get engaged, so I stayed in yeshiva for 5 years. There were weekly oral exams, but I maybe attended 2 exams in 5 years. I wasn't aware of the yeshiva that it was even considered a college. I never worked towards a degree or graduated. Eventually, I outgrew yeshiva and got various jobs within the community through people I knew from yeshiva. Once I had a job, I realized I'm highly uneducated. I was intellectually curious and realized I lacked a lot of basic information. I knew how to think, but I missed the manual for critical thinking and the ability to differentiate whether something is evidence-based or just an opinion. I tried applying for jobs that were not from my community, and I was denied because I didn't have a college degree or even a high school diploma. Between my quest for knowledge and wanting job opportunities, I decided I must pursue a higher education. I didn't know how to go about it. The entire concept and process was foreign to me. I was scared, so I kept pushing it off. Finally, at the age of 37, I decided to go to college. I went to RCC, Rockland Community College, and the woman at the admissions office told me that I need a high school diploma or a GED. I didn't have either. Eventually, I found out that I could do a GED 24 credit program, but I wouldn't be eligible for financial aid until after I get those 24 credits. And in addition, I first needed to take a placement test. So I asked, what's a placement test? I was told it's a test on basic English reading, writing, and math up to algebra. So I asked her, what's algebra? I ended up hiring a math tutor for a month to be able to take the placement test. I placed into Math 101. For English, I placed into ESL, English as a second language. The ESL advisor asked me when I immigrated to the US. My experience in college was very much like an immigrant. Everything was foreign to me, the culture, the basic knowledge that most students had from high school, and navigating school life. My first day at my intro to biology class, the entire class was nodding along with the professor, but I didn't understand a word. After class, I asked the professor if I missed the class because everyone seemed to know about protons, neutrons, and energy, and I didn't. He told me it's basic chemistry, what you learned in high school. I had to get a tutor to teach me basic chem to understand my intro to bio class. I realized that I had to tell all my professors on the first day that I only received the yeshiva education so that they'd understand why I lack basic knowledge. I found that I needed to study 3 times longer than the average classmate who did get a high school education. One professor suggested that I check with accessibility services to see if I'm eligible for assistance. Turns out I wasn't eligible, despite my yeshiva leaving me with an educational handicap. At some point, a friend mentioned that some yeshivas do issue high school diplomas. I needed the financial aid, so I contacted UTA, my high school yeshiva. Surprisingly, they offered to give it to me and emailed me a college transcript. I was confused. I called them back and said that I'm looking for a high school diploma. The employee said, "Oh, you have contacted UTA. We're UTS." So I realized my mistake, but I asked her anyway, "What is it that you sent me?" She says, "That's your transcript from your bachelor's degree." I was shocked, and that's how I learned that I have a bachelor's in Talmudic studies. I examined the transcript. I realized that most of the classes that are on there are not Judaic studies that I took while in yeshiva, nor were they offered at all as an option in that yeshiva. This also reminded me of something that happened while I was still in yeshiva. The head of the yeshiva addressed all the students, letting us know that federal inspectors will be coming next week. He told us that all students will receive a printout of the supposed classes that they're taking and asked everyone to memorize the classes for the chance we are chosen by the inspectors. He explained that the government pays money for studying in yeshiva because they want students to be able to get a job. And he said, Judaic studies provides opportunities for jobs, such as becoming a shochet, which is someone who slaughters animals, a mohel, someone who performs circumcision, or becoming a rabbi. He told us, he wanted to make sure that we know, so he told us that while we only know the yeshiva as UTA, the government knows it as UTS. So if you're asked which school are you attending, make sure to say United Talmudical Seminary. The inspector asked one of the students which school he attends. This student has never heard the word seminary before, so he told the inspector, United Talmudical Cemetery. UTS is accredited by Arts Accreditation Commission. ARTS stands for Association of Advanced Rabbinical and Talmudic Studies, a Talmudic school. ARTS consists of approximately 70 Orthodox yeshivas from the US. These credits do not transfer to most legitimate secular colleges, though I do know some colleges in New York that will give you 30 legit college credits for this degree. Long Island University in Brooklyn has a program specifically for yeshiva graduates where you can use the Talmudic degree to enroll in their social work master's program. That means right now, even without ever taking an English 101 class, I can cash in this fake degree to get accepted into a master's program. Well, maybe not me personally, not after I mentioned it here publicly, but you get the point. So is this a real degree? I'm not talking about mine, which was manufactured by a secretary randomly choosing classes for me and assigning grades on how they felt that day. I'm talking about real Talmudic degrees from yeshivas that do follow the official Judaic studies curriculum, but they offer no English, math, or science classes. Is studying halacha, Jewish law, and events from 2,300 years ago a genuine educational foundation to enter a master's program, or to trade it in for 30 legitimate college credits? I'll let you answer that question. So my plan was to transfer to a four-year college for my bachelor's and then go to social work school. Quite a few friends pushed me to drop out of community college and use Talmudic degree the shortcut with a Talmudic degree to graduate school. But I refused because I knew I would have felt like a fraud, that getting a master's degree through a Talmudic degree was fraudulent handed to me. Also, I needed the knowledge, and I would have cheated myself by not getting the education. Instead, I worked hard to get my associate's degree and ended up being selected for a prestigious scholarship by the Jack Hand Cook Foundation, which would have given me a free ride at Columbia. When I was selected for the scholarship, some yeshiva friends told me, "See, the yeshiva education did help. Look where it got you," failing to realize that what I accomplished was despite my yeshiva's lack of education. The only thing my yeshiva provided or added to my secular education was heartache and disappointment, constantly reminding me of how my yeshiva robbed me of the basic education it was legally required to provide. By the time I completed my associate's degree, Freedom as an organization has grown to a point where me transferring to a four-year school would have meant shutting down the support it provides. I couldn't justify continuing my school at the expense of depriving our then 1,200 members. It wasn't an easy decision, and it wasn't something I made lightly. My therapist can attest to that. My experience at community college taught me a lot, including how to navigate the college experience. I've since used my struggles with the college experience to help many religious Orthodox and formerly Orthodox individuals to get into college. And I'd like to put out an offer here to all of you, to anyone looking for information or assistance in navigating the college program, the college process, specifically Rockland Community College, including their wonderful honors program. Please feel free to reach out to me. You can message me through our website, freidom.org. It's spelled FREIDOM.org. And I'll also add that RCC is a great community college, including from anyone from the Orthodox community. So I want to thank Yaffed for facilitating this important conversation here today. And now, aware of how uneducated my yeshiva education left me, I pose this question to you again. Do I even have an education of a legit sixth grade dropout? Am I really a yeshiva graduate?